development of Genga is quite a short time.
Yes, with 10 years. And in fact, not only that, but if we, can we go on to the next one, please? We can see, or if you go one more, please, there. Now, 1954, that is Tatsumi's first published work when he was still in school. And if you look at, this one on the left, and if we can just go back to that previous one, please. Now, you can see there's only 2 years difference between this one here, from Shadow, issue 1, and the next one. Now, there's only 2 years difference, but if you look at the whole art style, there's a vast difference in only 2 years. These guys developed a hell of a lot in that time, 55, 56, 57, 58. And if you look at, for those of you who've read the Drifting Life biography, Tatsumi describes the whole process of why they wanted to develop and how they developed and how they related to each other. Tatsumi, Matsumoto-san, and Sugi as well, and various other creators. Let me read something out to you, please. This is an interview with Masahiko Matsumoto and Tatsumi before Matsumoto died a few years ago, in which they're discussing that period. And Tatsumi says, though Mr. Tezuka's full-length comic books were once so brilliant, when he started serial comics, the charm was lost. I also found myself in a dead-end situation when I started to draw short comics. But your work, Matsumoto, your work made me realize that a sketch could have its potentials for groundbreaking creation. So this is the kind of things they were thinking about in 56, 57, 58. Go to the next one, please. And we can see, this is from the Japanese edition of Drifting Life, where he's thinking about what new title can I give to describe this more mature style stuff. He's writing out various versions of it in Japanese. Now, this is 2 other pages from the Japanese edition of Drifting Life. And on the one hand, we can see Matsumoto, he suggested this word, komaga. Or, Ryan, what do you think? Can you tell us people what komaga means? Oh, I don't think I do actually, no. But what can we say? It just means panel pictures, man. So, but anyway, they decided not to use that version of Matsumoto, or one way or another, Gekka came out, and on the right we can see Tatsumi and his brother discussing about what can we call this, and they decided on this combination of kanji.
Just again, to give a little more background here, we really do recommend that you all pick up this book, A Drifting Life by Yoshihiro Tatsumi. He just finished completing it, the Japanese edition, a couple of years ago, as you can see. And it's his autobiography detailing his whole career, getting involved in manga and inventing this new dramatic style of manga called Genga, dramatic pictures. And it's published in English by Drawn and Quarterly, and they've got a booth here as well. It's a giant brick of a book, but it's well worth the read. There's a huge background into the development of manga as an art form and as an economic powerhouse. So this is, as you can see on the left, there's a sort of a competition, sort of friendly rivalry between Tatsumi, who is the central character of the book since he's doing the autobiography, and this guy Matsumoto. As the interview that Sean read, they drew inspiration off of each other and were really sort of progressing by leaps and bounds and inventing this new kind of doing comics. So that's a little more context for these scenes here. And on the left here, you can see him reading a story by Matsumoto, like just being blown away. He says, "This is better than anything I've ever done. I better up my game."
And on the other side of the Sugi, discovering Shadow, and we can see that these guys, it was really an important thing for them at that time, in 57, 58, thinking, wow, these are the potentials, this is what we can do with manga. And the kind of manga that we're living with now owes a lot to their efforts in that direction and acts as its modern manifestation. Now these are some covers by Sugi. The Four Crimes, Living Ghosts, and what beautiful artistic covers they are. Fantastic stuff. Hopefully at some point Sugi may agree to translation, but so far he's refusing. There has been a very small amount of his stuff translated. He's agreed to some Spanish and I think French and Spanish so far, but in English he's refusing.
Yeah, Sugi is slightly younger, I believe, than Matsumoto and Tatsumi. And one of his stories, one of his more influential stories is called Nishiki.
Yeah, I'll show that in a moment.
I'll show that to you in just a minute. It's actually been published in English in the pages of the Comics Journal.
So this is one of the pages from inside that, The Four Crowns, 1957, and you can see the attempt to create a kind of cinematic feeling and mood and atmosphere. Now on the other side there we've got him, this is leaping forward 10 years now, but this is some of the stuff from Garo. This is a scandalation which he doesn't know about, and we need to keep it secret. Well, maybe he's discovered so far, but officially he doesn't know.
Age. I mean, I'm looking at the dates of these. These are over 50 years ago, which means how old is Sugi now?
Well, these guys are all in 79, 78, 80 kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, Matsumoto unfortunately passed away, so that's one of the other reasons why this is important, because these guys will be dead very soon.
Well, I'm wondering if that will make it harder or easier to then translate these works.
Well, Matsumoto has, of course, his son has agreed now. I can tell you more about that in a moment, for translation. Sugi, who knows, possibly if he dies, his family might think we want to honor his memory and will allow a translation. Tatsumi is still alive, but he's not in very good condition and he can't travel too much. He came to Toronto this year, but this makes it all the more urgent that we can get these things out soon. This is a very important time for modern, mature style manga, Eikaikai style. Very exciting. And anyway, this one is from '66, and this is another important step forward for Sugi in looking at more alternative style ways of doing things, subject matter. And can we go to the next one, please? This is the one which Lee was just talking about there. Right? This is Nejishiki, screw style. And you can see just from the first page, this looks like a strange thing. What's happening? This guy with a kind of numb look on his face, clutching his arm. He's coming out of the sea, or what's he doing? And then there's a bomber in this red sky, red looming sky above him. And this is the kind of story that people call Kafka-ish, in its strange mixture of the mundane and the surreal, that leaves you with a feeling of something deep going on here, but you're not sure what. And again, that trend is here in Acts 2. Can we move on? Oh, sorry, just one thing about this is that this is a very, very significant story. You can read it in the Comics Journal, issue 230, 50, 230 or 250? Yeah, let me see. 250, yeah, the Comics Journal. And it was translated there by Bill Randall. And that's...
Since this is a story from the early days of Garo, Ryan actually did a great analysis of this story in his catalog to the exhibition. Ryan, do you have anything you want to say? Just a brief take on it. He'll talk about it in his section.
Okay, so Ryan will tell you more about this later, but this is a very, very significant story. This story is one of the key ones responsible for the idea of manga being a kind of artistic form in Japan.